Rotten reprising his war once again in recent months with Bull Payne. History goes back to the beginning of the IWA Mid-South. Almost no other more fitting match for Ian Rotten to be competing in on this 300th show than with Bull Payne, except maybe with Madman Pondo, but he'll have his hands full with several other hardcore competitors in that rumble.
When the door is locked to the cage this evening, the only person that can unlock the cage is the legend himself, Mr. Harley Race.
Keeper of the key, Harley Race.
Harley Race, who's been in some infamous, unbelievable cage matches, a legend of the industry, a master of the sport. Man, he's gonna call it down the middle too, one would think.
One would think. Flair and Race in the cage, Starcade. So many battles, and that man just locked that chain around the door of this cage, and these two men will battle it out, beat each other to a bloody pulp to see who will come up the winner, pinfall or escape. And decides the winner.
Dave, none of what you've said is cliche. They really are going to beat each other up.
To a bloody pulp. Brent Blades checking Ian Rotten. Will he do the same with Bull Payne? Apparently not. Collar and elbow tie up in the center of the ring. Steel cage definitely keeping out Bull's cohorts in the BMFs. And as you said, locking senior official Brent Blades in the ring to make sure that he does call things right down the middle.
What a dangerous place, though, for him to be if he's not in the good graces of Ian Rotten.
Rotten in control at the moment, delivers a headbutt to big bad Bull Payne. And a second.
Bull Payne staggered a bit and now down.
Third time's the charm for Ian Rotten. The third headbutt knocks his opponent down to the canvas. But Bull Payne with a boot to the midsection and a forearm down across the back of Ian. And now Bull delivering several headbutts with that large cranium of his own.
Bull Payne now with his hands wrapped around Ian Rotten's. You gotta think that's a choke.
That looks to be a choke, but is Brent Blades really asserting himself as the referee right there? Not really. I guess anything does go inside a steel cage match.
Anything does. It didn't look like he was asserting himself, but then again, he's got a better vantage point than we do. Maybe it was all right.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I guess. Forearm basically has Bull Payne knocked down face first. Knee drop down across the back of the head and the neck of Bull Payne by Ian Rotten.
And Bull Payne down early. If it's the Bull Payne I know, like I said before, he's going to come back and take it to Ian Rotten, who just laid a chop in.
Pulling the shirt and the singlet down to expose the chest of Bull Payne. Goes to shoot him into the ropes, but Bull Payne sends Ian Rotten face first into that steel mesh cage.
Bull Payne has a lot of fight left in him. And Ian Rotten better hope that he avoids the brunt of it.
Crowd solidly behind Ian Rotten, the man who has brought this hardcore style of athletic, independent wrestling to the fans of the Louisville area for the past 6.5 years. This is a battle for control of his own company. These two tore down the locker room wall with a brawl that went on for damn near 45 minutes
and
on
Bull
Thanksgiving
Payne was
night.
just taking apart the facial structure of Ian Rotten. Did you see him just mesh his face into the cage?
Ripping it apart. When flesh meets steel, there's nothing more that can happen than blood to start.
Steel, man, steel wins. You got to believe it.
And blood to start trickling down the faces of these two athletes. It is because of Bull Payne and Ian Rotten's hatred, the fact that they couldn't be housed in the same locker room any longer, that we now have 2 separate locker rooms in this building to keep these 2 men apart, and now they're kept in the same small area by this steel cage.
Well, it's a smart idea because there's no 2 men that you would want to have running around this small building angry at each other than Bull Payne and Ian Rotten. So I guess it's ironic that they should be locked in a cage.
Ian Rotten with the Liger drop kick in the corner, right to the chin of Bull Payne. He looks to be out on his feet.
And if he's not, this might do it.
Big lariat takes the big man down. Ian Rotten goes for the cover, hooking the leg. Again, pinfall or escape. And nobody's going to be escaping unless Harley Race unlocks the chain, locking that cage door shut.
Or unless one of these 2 climbs over the cage.
Well, that's going to be something to see if they're able to climb over this cage and make their way to the concrete floor of the IWA building. European uppercut by Ian Rotten.
I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them leave the cage that way, although I'll tell you, I would expect it more to see the referee just run from Ian Rotten if Ian got in one of his crazed moods. See, he's always crazy. He just goes, I don't know, he turns it up a notch from there. Crazy's like his sanity.
Psychotic would certainly describe Ian Rotten.
No doubt about it, but look at Bull Payne, a warrior, a barroom brawler, a psychopath in his own right, likely an ex-felon, who knows.
Sent head first into the steel cage. The flesh has been raked across that mesh cage several times already by Ian Rotten. And now right in front of Smart Mark Video, our floor camera there, getting a good shot of Bull Payne in a world of hurt. Ian Rotten now.
Ian Rotten's already torn up, already
in
damaged.
the opposite corner of the ring. He could be looking to climb over the top right here. But Bull Payne meets him. Double axe handle by Ian Rotten off the second rope. Gets an ear fall out of it. Relentless Bull Payne with 2 boots to the side of the head of Ian Rotten and a third.
And the fans getting behind Ian Rotten, and you knew that would be the case on this, the 300th show. But he's going to need all of their encouragement to battle back to his feet and get back in there against Bull Payne.
Not only with Harley Race outside of that cage, keeping the key, keeping that door shut, but we've also got young Mickey outside the cage as well. Could she become a factor in the outcome of this matchup as well?
Anything's possible, but
even with a steel cage with these 2 guys in the same ring, first to be in there by themselves, there's so many outside factors even on the floor of the arena that could come into play.
Anything can happen, even though they're confined to that ring by that cage. It doesn't mean, especially Dave, with these 2 in there.
And we know Harley Race's reputation in the wrestling business. Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah, he was one of the greatest of all time. But did Harley Race always play by the rules? That's something that we need to keep in mind.
No doubt about it. So many factors. Which one will be the deciding one is anybody's guess.
And that's what all of these fans have packed the IWA arena here in Clarksville, Indiana, to come and find out tonight.
And they've come from everywhere. They've come from all over the Midwest. It was a big deal before when it was Chicago versus Detroit because there are fans from Chicago here. There are fans from Detroit here. And they're all here to see the hottest IWA Mid-South action. And this is the 300th show. I don't know if it gets any hotter than this.
Quick leg drop down across the throat of Ian Rotten. Both men a bloody mess by this point of the match. And a second one delivered by Big Bad Bull Payne. Goes for the cover on Ian Rotten, but he gets his shoulder up before a count of 3.
And Bull Payne's upset about it. Bull Payne trying to make sure that that won't happen the next time. But what does he have left that he can hit Ian Rotten with that'll put a man like Ian Rotten away, especially on this show? You know Ian's got to be taking a tremendous amount of pride in there.
And thus far, referee Brent Blades appears to be administering fair counts to both of these men, not really showing any sort of an alliance with Bull Payne as of yet here tonight, though he has been accused of it in the past. His excuse for going back to Bull's locker room after saying that Ian gave up was that he knows how Ian gets when he's mad and he couldn't be around him. So we'll take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, these two both know each other very, very well, and Ian Rotten, throughout the 300 shows in the history of the IWA, has displayed all of the insanity across the spectrum, but it'll be up to Bull Payne to counter that. Bull Payne has his own brand of nuts. And Ian Rotten, the fans are behind him. He might have Bull Payne where he wants him.
Rotten hits the spin wheel kick and rams Bull Payne headfirst into the cage twice now in succession. And 3.
And Bull Payne's still standing.
You know, on any other show, you'd think that a steel cage match would be the main event, but tonight we've got 4 or 5 main events on this card. We have 7 more matches after this one, and Bull Payne tumbles down as a result of Ian's onslaught.
Well, that's the way it was for the 6th anniversary show when I was here. That's the way it was for the Ted Petty Invitational. So there's no doubt that on this and every given night in IWA Mid-South, you're going to see people take it to the limit, because that's what this place is about.
Up and down the card, we still have tonight Sick Nick Mondo returning to the IWA to do battle with the IWA's own light heavyweight hardcore wrestler in the Spider Nate Webb tables, ladders, and chairs. That plus a 3-way dance for the heavyweight title, the Hardcore Rumble, Chris Hero and Jerry Lynn, and that's not all.
And the fact that that's not all is what has these people driving from anywhere near Clarksville, Indiana, anywhere near the Louisville, Kentucky area to come see it.
Ian Rotten just measuring Bull Payne with these straight right hands. Closed fist or not, it's a steel cage match. Anything goes.
Anything goes, everything goes, and everything just went into the breadbasket of Bull Payne.
Definitely both of the feet of Ian Rotten went to the breadbasket of Bull Payne.
Everything, not a slice of bread, but everything else. All of Ian Rotten's intensity, all of his drive, all of his pride, and all of his legs.
Ian Rotten has been in control of this match for the past 3 or 4 minutes, delivering another headbutt. And Bull Payne trying to wrest that door open.
There's not a shot of that happening, and if that door gave way, you could bet Harley Race would give him a fight. Harley Race, when he's got something to do, he gets it done.
Headbutt by Ian Rotten. Diving down to the mat. This is about as old school of a hardcore matchup as you can get, and we are seeing a classic steel cage confrontation here.
And it was guys looking like this for which the Crimson Mask term was innovated. Look at them. Their faces are covered with blood. It doesn't just mean they've been cut. It doesn't just mean they've been scarred. It means that that blood is going to run into their eyes and make everything they do that much harder to execute the way it needs to get done.
And just sitting in his chair at ringside, holding on to that key Harley Race, a lot of memories have got to be flowing back into his head.
Oh, he's seen the battles before, there's no doubt about it, which is why he knows exactly what to do to keep these men from escaping.
Bull Payne now looks like he's biting the ear of Ian Rotten. Brent Blade's kind of looking in there, but not really doing anything about it, as if he can.
In boxing, that's a huge deal. I guess we found that out. But in wrestling, especially IWA Mid-South hardcore wrestling, another day at the park.
Fans once again getting behind Ian Rotten as Bull Payne continues to unleash the punishment right down upon the forehead of Ian Rotten. Again, trying to open that cage door, but nothing.
With these two, I don't even think it's a matter of how much punishment can one man take. I think it's how much punishment can the other one dish out.
And Bull Payne just pulling on that head of Ian Rotten right into that cage. Both these guys have seen better days. They've seen better minutes.
They've seen better matches. They're both taking it. They're taking an onslaught to each other, Dave. I mean, look at them. When are they going to stop? What's going to have to happen for one man to leave the cage and stop beating on the other, or just pin him and put him out of his misery?
Bull walks that second rope as Ian Rotten lays down on the canvas. Precision elbow drop right down across the chest of Ian Rotten.
There was a lot of impact behind that. All of Bull Payne, you can look at him, he's a monster, he's huge. All of his impact driven right into the chest of Ian Rotten.
And a headbutt. We've seen about a dozen headbutts so far in this match. Maybe we'll see 2 before it's over. But Ian Rotten fighting back. Headbutts of his own. Out 6 in succession.
Man.
But just as much as he's doing damage to his opponent, he's knocking himself a little bit loopy. Big drop kick to the shoulder of Bull Payne. And Bull Payne, Ian Rotten is in a world of hurt right now, as you can hear.
You can hear him. I don't know. I mean, we can hear him up here. I'm sure the ground
or his
cam
hand
picked
or
it up.
what it is.
He's got to be. I mean, you talk about people being hurt, and in this sport, you're always hurt. You live hurt. But Ian Rotten is in a world of hurt right now. I don't know if I've ever heard him scream like that.
And just a red blot on the canvas from the head of Ian Rotten. A good sign of the punishment unleashed by Bull Payne tonight.
The fans are unbelievably behind him, and he needs all of the help, all of the encouragement he can get.
Ian Rotten fighting for the integrity of his company, fighting for the fans.
And the fans seem to appreciate it. You know Ian does, but you know Ian's got to be appreciating all of the pain that Bull Payne is dishing out. Bull Payne relentless.
And a headbutt by Bull Payne to the lower extremities of Ian Rotten.
Ian Rotten having a lot of trouble getting up, and we've seen why. Over the course of the match, he's expended himself in taking it to Bull Payne, and he's taken everything Bull Payne has so far.
He's trying to stay in this thing, pounding on the canvas. Trying to make his way back to his feet. Bull Payne just mocking him.
Mocking the fans, mocking Ian, rubbing it in Ian's face, just like he's rubbing that size, God knows.
God knows, 15, 16. And now again, blatant choke right in front of referee Brent Blades. He's putting a count on Bull Payne, taking a little bit of time in between each count.
Well, every ref has his own pace, his own tempo. I don't know. No signs yet, no obvious ones that Brent Blades is partial, but
that's a good thing. That's a good choice on his part to not obviously be in favor of Bull Payne, because he knows that he's in that cage with Ian Rotten.
And he knows what a terrible place that is to be.
Bull now to the top rope, but this time Ian Rotten moves out of the way. Bull Payne goes crashing down to the canvas. And Ian Rotten back on his feet, barely. Jabs to the face of Bull Payne.
How does Ian Rotten find it about himself to get a burst of adrenaline?
Down goes Bull Payne. Ian Rotten still in this thing. He's got Bull Payne by the back of the head, driven face first into the cage. Snaps Bull down to the canvas. Ian Rotten climbing the ropes.
What a quick and sudden reversal of fortune. Ian Rotten, he'd been taking a beating for at least 5 minutes now. Look at him.
Ian Rotten on the top rope. Big elbow drop connects. The victory could be in the hands of Ian Rotten right here. Goes for the cover. Brent Blades counts 1, 2. Was that 3?
Well, I was watching Harley race on the outside.
Harley race knocks down Michael Todd Stratton. Harley race knocks down Adam Gooch. And just like you're watching Harley race on the outside.
I mean, there was a count going on, but I was watching Harley race.
Harley race going to town on the BMFs here tonight.
Oh, Oh, was all that going down while there could have been a 3 count?
It would have been a 3 count, and
I'm not going to blame
Harley Race
for having his attention diverted. Mine was... Oh, no!
Corporal Robinson cracks Bull Payne with the bat! Double underhook DDT! 1, 2, 3!
Oh!
Ian Rodden is your winner!
Oh!
While Harley Race's attention was diverted by Michael Todd Stratton and Adam Gooch, he left that cage door unattended. Corporal Robinson, allies with Bull Payne, comes into the cage with the bat, chooses to knock that bat into the head of Big Bad Bull Payne, and now he's paying the price. But Too Tough Tony hits the cage.
You see the way he scaled that cage to get in there.
Too Tough Tony knocks down Corporal Robinson.
The locker rooms are emptying. This is becoming everybody's cage match.
It is a war zone for sure. And now Bull Payne going to town on Corporal for turning his back on him.
Livid. He's got to be livid. Can you imagine?
It was because of Corporal Robinson entering that cage and turning on Bull Payne. It was because of Corporal Robinson that Ian Rotten came up your winner. Nate Webb off the top of the cage. Dives in to try to save Corporal Robinson.
Everybody's getting into this one. Only in the IWA, man. In a cage match, the object is to try to escape. Both locker rooms want in on this.
Now, Bo, Too Tough Tony, Michael Todd Stratton, Adam Gooch going to work on Corporal Robinson, and Nate Webb inside the steel cage. Gooch and Stratton on opposite corners, running to the top of the steel cage.
Yeah, but what could they possibly be setting up for? What could they be thinking?
Corporal Robinson lays prone, elbow drop by Stratton. Gooch at the top of the cage. Senton! Senton off the top of the cage by Adam Gooch.
Senton off the top of the cage. And nobody had to go to Japan to see it. Nobody had to go to Mexico.
Tony with Corporal. Dropped right on his head.
This is nuts. Look, everybody still wants in.
Pile driver for Spider Nate Webb.
Look at the locker room.
Here comes CM Punk. Chris Sabin, Chris Hero, Nick Capri, Nate Webb. Nick Mondo. The locker rooms have emptied. And Ace Steel, Chris Hero, CM Punk, Mark Wolf, Nick Mondo climbing this cage to run off Bull Payne and his ally.
Man, we were wondering whether referee Brent Blades, was in on it. But look, everybody's in on this one. On the 300th show, the entire crew is looking to get in the ring. I can't, from up here, it's hard to call. Well, Chris Hero in there now. A lot of these guys have matches later on the show.
Hell, Nick Mondo and Nate Webb have a tables and ladders match coming up later on in the show, and he chose to dive off that cage to try to save Corporal Robinson.
I think it's enough to worry about, but beside the tables, the ladders, and the chairs, everybody wants in on this cage. It's mind-boggling.
And listen to these fans getting behind Corporal Robinson for doing the right thing. And as you saw, Ian Rotten scoring the pinfall on Big Bad Bull Payne. Corporal Robinson stood over Brent Blades with that baseball bat to make sure that he counted to 3.
It was amazing, but that wasn't even the beginning of it. And look, it's not over yet.
Well, at least for now, Ace Steel, Chris Hero, Mark Wolf, CM Punk, JC Bailey have run off Bull Payne and his cohorts, and they're all attending to the fallen Corporal Robinson inside of this cage.
Corporal Robinson, it's ironic because he took a hell of a beating. I mean, I haven't even touched on that yet, but look at him. Gotta hope that he's okay.
A hell of a steel cage war between Ian Rotten and Bull Payne. It comes down to this. Ian Rotten is your winner. Corporal Robinson has shown his allegiance.